Hi, welcome to another exciting episode of Your Perspective with me, your homegirl, Mara Samuels, and I am super excited because today the administration of Nigeria and other states, some states, marking their 3 years in office, and well, yeah, we're here basically to review. Yeah, let's talk about the current administration and what they've achieved so far. Let's look at the way forward. Let's do some critics here and there. Let's see what we have, what the government has done for us, and what we have to say about the government in these few months and years that they've been in office. I'm not alone, of course. I have my guest with me in the studio, Mr. Fred O'Neill, who's going to join me to discuss all of this. Mr. Fred, good day to you and welcome to the show.
Yeah, a very good day to you too, and to the viewers out there.
All right, yeah, let's look at this is May 29th, 2026, and we are super excited because it's not just today that marks 3 years. Before now we've been looking at the previous, the achievements over time, what this administration has done so far for us. Mr. Fred, what do you think about the current? Let's look at the wide scope before we come home, right? What do you think about this present administration, national administration, so far?
Okay, from the national perspective,
Yeah.
it's been a roller coaster of, should I say, the good, the bad, the ugly, so to speak. In the first year, remember when President Tinubu came into power, came into office,
Yeah.
and the first thing he did was to, um, you know, declare,
Yeah.
so to speak, that fuel subsidy is gone, and
Yeah.
it's been very tough economically for the nation, as it were. And yes, I said a roller coaster of activities, the good, the bad, the ugly. We've seen, to some extent, the good for the government in terms of taxation, still under the 3 years in review, that the federal government came up with the new tax reform,
Yeah.
which has so far, this is the 5th month in the year 2026, and so far there's been reports of some internally generated revenue via the taxation. So positive for the government of the day. I know it's somehow difficult for the everyday Nigerian. But like we used to say, those of us who are in the economics space, we used to say that tax is something you just cannot run away from. But the bad aspect of it is that the people keep complaining about what the tax they are paying for. They are not seeing the dividends from the taxation. The ugly part of it, under the years in review, the first 3 years in office of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as president of the country, is the insecurity issue, of which of late we are aware of how children were also involved in the kidnap of, by bandits from, I think, Oyo State and some other parts of the country. As we speak, they have been there for quite a number of times now, and not really a good one for the image of the country as relating to trying to solve the insecurity issues that we have in Nigeria. So holistically, I would say that it's been a roller coaster of the good, the bad, the ugly.
Okay, yeah, beautiful. Talking about the insecurity, this reminds me of our team is going to play right up the video of the president, giving his response to a journalist who asked him his thoughts on the current insecurity of the nation. Let's see what the president had to say.
Well, we thank God, Almighty Allah, for us who had provided for us to and keep us to see another year, another Ikabi. We thank His mercy, and we must learn from the lessons of this season. and is showing love to one another, no discrimination, no ethnicity, no hatred, and we should share love and be generous to one another in a way that will reflect the value of our country and the humanity in us. It is essential that we be very tolerant, be obedient to the wish of Allah, and obedient to the rule of law, which must guide our society. That is it.
Thank you very much.
Issue of insecurity, that is the law. That's obedience of law. Nowhere in the holy teaching that you should engage in banditry. Nowhere that you should kill another human being. The sacrifice we are talking about, even in the beginning of life, where we take this from, a child was replaced with animal. And that is what the value of life is all about.
And that's it. That's what the president had to say about insecurity, Mr. Fred, because you made mention of insecurity. So
Yes.
I said, let's play that. So do you understand anything he said? Do you have
Yeah, I think one of the reporters there was asking if the insecurity issue in Nigeria is being regional, religiously inclined or religious inclined, and that was where he was saying that, especially in this
I don't
at the
think that
time,
was the question.
no, at the time of this celebration, the Eid al-Kabir, in line with it, and so that was why he was, I think, quoted saying there that there's nowhere in the holy books where it was said that banditry and all of that.
No, I don't think. No, what we heard is, sir, what is your take on the insecurity? I didn't hear a part where they asked about religion.
Yes, there was a statement at the background. I mean, I followed this particular interview where it was someone was about saying something about
Religion.
yes, like this
Okay, so
is a Muslim.
That was why he had to.
Yes, this is a
transport.
Muslim, holiday, and we know that these people who make up the bandits and the insurgents, they are, however we like it, they are extremists of the Muslim or Islamic religion. And so that was where he was coming from, that there's nowhere in the holy books where it is stated that banditry should be carried out, and especially to kill fellow humans.
Okay,
that was
so
the angle
you're
he was
saying that
coming
you
from.
quite understand what.
Yes, that was what he was trying to say there.
Okay, all right. So this is not like a newspaper review, but this is like this is coming from. Is like the front page of almost all our dailies for today. And since we're talking about the 3 years of governance, let's look at the promises delivered, renewed hope agenda.
And for Delta State now.
No. Just for the national angle. Here we see reform the economy for sustained inclusive growth. We see strengthening national security for peace and prosperity. We see boosting agriculture to achieve food security, unlocking energy and natural resources from promise to reform. We also see enhanced infrastructure and transportation as enablers of growth, education, health, and social investments, accelerate diversification through industrialization, digitization, creative arts, and manufacturing and innovation. And lastly, we see improved governance for effective service delivery. Mr. Fred, which of these do you think this administration has, the federal government administration has successfully achieved? Which of these agendas do you think the federal government has successfully achieved in their hope agenda?
If you mind, if you don't mind, I beg your pardon, if you can just read the list again because
Okay.
it's a whole bunch there. But one thing is certain is one certain thing is to the everyday Nigerian, they will still, even if I explain, they will still not understand that these things actually occurred. But if you can, just read out the
I should read
list,
it out
and I'll
again.
just pick one before you conclude, you exhaust the list.
No problem. I'll gladly do that. I'll gladly do that. So I have here reform the economy for sustained inclusive growth,
Okay,
strengthen.
so let me
Okay.
take that.
Okay. Yeah.
Remember, I said I'm not going to allow you to exhaust the list because if we do that, we'll not be able to have enough time for the program
All
today.
right.
But when you talk about the economy, I said something about taxation.
Okay.
Trying to grow the economy, we've relied, even before President Tinubu came on board, Nigeria has always been relying on revenue from the oil sector.
Yeah.
And so he wants to go out of the oil sector to uh, generate revenue internally, and that's coming via taxation. And I think, like I said earlier on, from the indices, unfortunately, we do not have the indices now, but with the indices that I've seen, economically coming in from the CBN and other MDAs in Nigeria, it is projecting or pointing towards marginal growth in the economy because of the way taxation compliance on tax is being carried out now,
Yeah.
and how people are now paying their tax, not just only individuals but businesses as well. So for the economy, I think we're beginning to see some form of boost. Remember at the beginning of this year, many of the financial houses in Nigeria, which are non-oil sector, in the non-oil sector, also talked about profits. The huge amount of profits we've never seen in the history of Nigeria before.
Yeah.
We saw that. And so we are beginning to see the economy is trying to loosen up. Like I said, the everyday Nigeria will not understand this because on paper, that's all they will say.
Yeah, because we see these things on paper.
Yeah,
So yeah,
but
actually explaining this to people that do not see it every day is
but
a bit tough.
gradually it will be seen. It's just unfortunate that the monies, like I said, it's not like the economy is not experiencing these revenues, but it's just that they are being channeled into debt servicing. That's a whole lot of topic entirely of its own, and that's the reason why the everyday Nigerian is not seeing that aspect. It's not seeing that money being realized or the economy growing. So, but that's just the way I will leave it, because like you said, when you listed, you were listing some other things there, but I just picked that one only. So let's just talk about that and leave the rest.
All right, that's interesting. Okay, so we've done the national scene. We're going to narrow it down now to the state level, where we have the more agenda here in Delta State, and the administration led by Governor Sheriff Oborevwori. Yeah, that's the governor of Delta State. And the full meaning of this more agenda simply means M stands for meaningful development, O stands for opportunity for all, R stands for realistic reforms, E stands for enhanced peace and security. So meaningful development, prioritizing high impact infrastructural projects such as roads, bridges, and urban renewal alongside environmental sustainability. O, opportunities for all, promoting inclusive governance, youth or women empowerment, and creating wealth through skills training and support for small and medium-sized enterprises. R stands for realistic reforms, implementing financial transparency, agricultural expansion, and better efficiency in civil service, while E stands for enhanced peace and security, collaborating with security agencies and traditional institutions to maintain law and order, creating a safe, business-friendly environment for investors. I'm going to start with this last one now, E, enhanced peace and security. Mr. Fred, what do you think that the governor or the government of Delta State has been able to achieve enough, or quite some level of peace and security in the states?
To an extent, I would say that the Delta State government has relatively remained stable when it comes to peace, because when you talk about peace too, you also want to look at it from the from political aspects,
And
from
also indigenously too.
yes, the political aspects you must always look at it. But if I want to give my mark on the government of Delta State under Sheriff Oborevwori, the governor, over 10, I will score 7 over 10 in that regard, because his government has been able to prioritize political stability in the state to ensure that there are no crises when it comes to political issues in Delta State. That's a pass mark. Where you see political crisis in some other major states in Nigeria.
You think so? But
Yeah.
Recently we've been having
This is recently, just how long ago?
say from last year to now.
What was the crisis?
This delineation issue.
No,
it's not really a crisis.
I'm coming. That's really not.
It's still under the indigenous.
Yes,
aspect, right?
yes. Yeah. Now the communities, because I'm coming to that.
Okay.
For political, we're looking at parties, internal crisis, and what have you. There was nothing before his realignment, with APC, his alignment with APC, so to speak, moving away from PDP. Now, like I said, there's no major prolonged political crisis in the state under his leadership in these 3 years. That's a pass mark for him. And there's been a working relationship with political stakeholders in the state. You have not heard where an opposition has been fighting his government. We've not seen that for the past 3 years. Then there is these community tensions that he ensured to douse fears and tensions where there seem to be some sort of problems. Now, take the example of you mentioned earlier on before we came on air, the issue in, was it in Ughelli North, between the community, 2 communities, and soldiers had to come in between.
Yeah.
Okwama communities. Yes, Okwama communities. And you could see how he handled. Initially, people were like, what is the governor doing? But later on, you saw how he handled that situation.
How did he handle it?
He handled it peacefully. He handled it. It didn't escalate.
Okay.
It didn't escalate. In some other instances, it would have escalated. We know what happened in the Alaja issue. Yes. So if you follow such kind of community tensions, you believe me. I will tell you, believe me when I say that Kwama's issue was handled very well by the state governor. But the concerns about security remains that there's still kidnapping in the state.
Yeah.
Now, these are some of the knocks. This is where the state government, because we're talking about moving forward now, this is one of the areas that his government has to look into.
Because recently, the chairman of Saple local government area was kidnapped.
Then there's the issue of cult-related matters.
Cultism here.
Yes, cultism especially in the Odu area, is very, very common.
It's everywhere, but just rampant in some areas.
In Delta, there are 2 places that you could pick, and the other place that I have not mentioned, it's understandable why it's so, because there's a school there, Uzoro. All right, but in Udu, there are no institutions, high institutions there that we want to, and it's very, very common in Udu.
Cult clashes here and there.
When I say this thing, I am saying it with utmost sincerity, from primary to secondary school. Cultism. It was shocking to find out that even primary school pupils were involved in cultism. I'm telling you, in that Udu area.
Wow.
Yeah, and then there is also the oil community tension, and that's where we'll talk about this delineation exercise, because when you look at the delineation, the Warri Federal Constituency delineation, it's all about, when you look at it, is oil-related communities, and so that's why they're fighting to ensure that there is balance in those areas. So for me, I think, like I said, I'll give him 7 over 10.
Okay.
In that regard. For the
So
federal
calling on him to still focus
to
on
do more, of
security,
course,
yeah,
of
to do
course,
more
to
because
do more,
it's more agenda, so he has to do more.
of course.
Yeah. So let's go up to our realistic reforms. Talk about the governance and labor so far. What do you think the government has done, and what do you think he can do more? Because we see workers and retiree welfare, we see fiscal responsibility. Are these what do you have to say about the governance and labor so far in the past 3 years in office?
Well, for governance in Delta State, I would also say the governor has done his bit to ensuring that people are carried along. You understand that people, excuse me, that people are carried along. Um, he has done some certain things because I've not heard people complain from different quarters that my nationality, my ethnic nationality is not well represented in the government.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's been some even distribution of appointments in that regard when it comes to governance. And he has also done his best to ensure that the 3 senatorial districts in Delta State are well represented, in terms of governance, in terms of carrying out labor activities, right? So, but when you want to look at his the labor in relation to what the governor is doing in the state, I will also say that I haven't heard. Maybe I'm stand to be corrected. I haven't heard Labour fight his government.
Okay.
I don't think I've heard that so far in the first 3 years. They've not. I think the few times something like that wanted to happen, I remember, was it ASU related issue? I think Delta State, even before he came on board, that has been resolved, that the state chapter of ASU should not go on strike with other universities because the state government takes care of the state chapter of ASU. Yes. Now, for retirees, I don't have the indices to really project that, but like I said, there's not been enough crisis or news, loud news or thereabout about this state governor, this present governor, not looking into the welfare of both workers who are working in the civil service and those who are retired. I think it has a welfare package for civil servants in Delta State that is going on well, that I know. And one other thing too that is a pass mark for him in these first 3 years is that when it comes to salaries, there's been stability in that area.
Yeah. Still talking about retirees and welfare.
Yeah.
I've heard complaints from some retirees. I mean, my parents is a retiree, so I hear these reports from them, and you hear reports like, oh, the gratuity they come home with is little or nothing. After all these years serving the government, they go home with as little as 2 million naira for some. They go home with as little as 3 million naira, and which is not even enough to even, start up life. We're not even talking about their monthly pension that comes in, just the take home that they go home with about 2 million, some 1 million, some even 800 some thousand, some 500,000. So why do they have such cases like that?
It depends on the insurance scheme, the pension scheme, so to speak. It depends on the pension scheme and how it is calculated.
There's a way. Thing.
No, they have a way of calculating it. So if they don't know the calculation, they should ask questions. But where they know the calculation and it still falls short of the valuation, then it is something that you raise your eyebrows for. But I think my own understanding about the pension scheme is that before you even get retired, you know what your pension, what your pension is.
In recent cases, some do not know what they're going home with until they retire, and then when they start the process, when they now know, okay, this is what I'm going home with.
And that's a wrong thing that these civil servants are doing, because they've called on them. Even recently, I think I went for an event where it was also said there, we had some retirees there as well.
Okay.
They were told, and those who are in service, they told them, look, they go to certain places because they know
Where to go.
the financial houses that are responsible
Of
for
course,
their.
yes.
So go there and ask them questions. They will tell you, they'll give you everything. They even had a website, I can't remember that now, but they have a website where you can also access and get all this information for you to know what you are going home with at the end of your service.
Oh, well, okay. So, well, this is a call out to our civil servants and retirees or soon to be retiree to do the needful, know what to do, and so that you're not stranded like these retirees, and also to call on the government as well. We still have some lapses that you need to fill in and you need to look into. So you need to look into that. So yeah, let's go over to opportunities for all, both human capital and economy, social safety nets and grants, education and health expansion, and all sorts. I was just saying that. I was jokingly saying this before we began, like, all these grants flying left, right, and center. I've not seen any. I beg, Mr. Fred, did any grants come to you? Did you hear of anybody that all of these grants has gotten to, or that benefited from any of these grants from the government?
Well, there are few persons who have, benefited from these. And one thing I know is that information were given out. Statements were put out there for calling for those who will be qualified to access. It's not for everybody. There are people who are qualified for such. Okay. Now, when most times, persons that probably applied and couldn't get, but because of one of the reasons is because the requirements were not met. One of them is for some of these businesses, they ask for CAC. They ask for some set. Let me not go in there, but they ask for certain things. But at the end of the day, most of these people who applied do not have those things.
Them.
And when they now hear that some persons that applied that they know had the grant, they get angry and say, but I applied now. I beg is why you is this is that. But there are procedures, and they laid out those things in the forms they filled.
I'm going to agree with you on that for that.
Yeah, because I have seen. I
know someone that has applied for a grant, business grant, and in part of the compulsory requirement, you must have your CAC.
Yeah.
And my friend that was applying, she didn't have her CAC.
So the bottom line is, I think the governor has done his bit in that regard. Definitely, you get some people that want to truncate or spoil the good plans of any governor, not only himself, even the president.
Yeah.
Middlemen coming into the space and all of that to spoil it. But there are persons who got these grants, and they are there to testify of it.
Okay, all right, yeah. Well, so let's look at education and health expansion. What do you think about the educational sector so far and the health expansion, the health sector as well?
Well, for Governor Sheriff Oborevwori, I think he has done brought some sort of relief to the education sector. Let me start from there. At least I've been opportune to speak to some very few persons, especially in the Ministry of Basic Education and Secondary Education, where it is that the governor has supported education to an extent. And look at how he's even trying his best, which is a common thing with Delta State, by the way. But under his leadership, we've seen the high institutions in Delta State, owned by Delta State, by the way, the Delta State University, can attest to the fact that the governor has done one or two, in that regard. For health, I don't know much about his contribution to the health sector, but I know that there's been some rehabilitations of infrastructure in some health centers
and also
across
recently,
the Delta State.
There's been the approval of recruitment of over 700.
Yes, that's another thing. Although we do not know anyone, I do not know. Let me not say we. I do not know anyone that has been confirmed as now a worker with from that exercise. But that was something he said that will be carried out. We saw the exercise, the interview exercise, how thousands turned up, and we're looking for about 700. And thousands turned out for that exercise. So it goes to show the governor that I know he'll be looking at that direction. It goes to show the governor that, look, we have so many unemployed people in the state.
And there are so many people out there that still, need opportunities. And I would also want to pitch this in to say that so many people that even applied are not even from the medical field. Although I looked at the vacancies, and not all were for medical personnel as well. I saw some vacancies for cleaners, gardeners, security personnel, and also, but not. And it's also good to say that not everybody that applied as well were also medical personnel.
Of course.
So yeah, the governor should also look into that, and know that there are so many people out there that are looking for opportunities like this, and they'll be more than glad to be employed and off the streets. Okay, now let's go to M, meaningful development, looking at infrastructure now. This is the major thing, because the video that was shown on the screen now just showed many infrastructures
that is the aspect where the governor showed his show his A game. As one of the promises he made during his campaign, that he was going to work on bringing in flyovers, restructure, and he's called the roadmaster. I don't know why he's being called the roadmaster.
How can you say you don't know why he's called the roadmaster?
I thought the former governor.
How can you say you don't know why it's called the roadmaster?
I thought the recent.
Look at
I know. I mean, just in this particular infrastructure issue, I think I score him high here. This is his strongest, assets going into the election 2027. I mean, with only this, I know many Deltans, and I'm not campaigning for Sheriff Oborevwori, but I know that many Deltans will want to bring him back so that he could complete many of the projects ongoing.
But
because I know that before his first tenure will end, some of these projects would not have been completed. But at least there's been aggressive road construction and rehabilitation. We've seen expansion of urban road networks, especially in the capital city of Asaba. We've seen it in Warri Uwie, and of course in other local governments. Even in Agbo, I've seen him work there. In Ughelli, he has started his flyover as well at that what's it called again? Otowodo.
And even Emevo
Orogun Road. So bridges and
Kwale and Beneku Bridge.
So we have erosion controlled projects ongoing. I remember the airport road axis in Warri, the drainage systems that we did there. At least that thing has helped to an extent. When the rain falls now, we do not see in that area now. We do not see stagnant water, in places. We see them flowing where, they were being channeled.
And for the roads, let's not forget the flyovers on PTI Junction,
DSC, NRA Junction, and all of that. So a good one from, like I said, this is the area where he did, he brought his A game, and of course, where he has won the hearts of many Deltans.
Okay, and for public buildings, we look at the 5-story high court complex in Asaba as well. But we need more.
Of course, we need more.
We need more schools, we need more hospitals,
and
we need
that's
more healthcare centers.
Now, talking about
we
the
need
road,
more police stations too, right? Yeah, we need more.
I think that's where we'll not talk about state police. But let's leave the state police matter for now. But talking about needing more, especially in the infrastructure, not quite long ago, I think about a couple of weeks ago, he said something about the extension of the construction of that road from the Efe roundabout, that flyover, I think will be brought down and be reconstructed by the company handling. I don't want to promote anybody, handling the project right now, and then of course extend it down to the NPA Expressway.
Oh yes,
and that's a major. I mean, if that project is completed, he will always be remembered in this part of Delta State.
Okay, now let's look at, we've looked at road, we've looked at, buildings, we've looked at jobs. Let's look at electricity. What has this present day government done about electricity?
In terms of the state government?
Yes, the state government. What is it doing
Now,
about electricity?
I
What do you think
understand.
it's doing?
I understand that I think about 3 states make up the BEDC, the is it Benin Electricity Distribution Company.
Yeah.
Now, this is where Delta State, some months ago, the governor talked about having, a power station to support the BEDC. I think in Saple. I don't know the stage at which that project is on right now, but if that project is completed, I think it will help, minimize or reduce the level of incessant blackouts we are experiencing in Delta State. So for electricity, apart from that project that the governor talked about in Saple, I don't think there's anything major that the governor is doing in regards to that electricity. Remember,
or maybe there are, works on the ground that hasn't come out yet.
That's what I'm saying. There was a time. I don't want to. I just want to be specific in anything I say. I like being specific.
Yeah.
So I do not have the specific information on what's going on, but I know that there was an issue after he made that pronouncement about the supply issue. I think something came up about how things are not going to work unless some certain things are put in place. I didn't follow it up, so I don't know the stage where it is in Saple right now. But that is it that I know about the governor's, intention or move as regards electricity.
Okay, let's look at sports and entertainment in Delta State.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about sports and entertainment in Delta State?
Well, for sports, it's not news that when it comes to national festival of sports or sporting festivals in Nigeria, Delta State is always one of the top states, and it was no news that during his time too, Delta State also were top in some of the festivals. I think bar the one for last year or so, but the others we've always been top. So he has always invested in sports since he came on board. Even previous governors have done that as well. They always invest in sporting activities in the state. The only drawback for me is the football team that is representing Delta State in the Nigerian Premier Football League, talking about Warri Wolves, that for me do not seem to be having the best coming in from Delta State, and that's why they've been performing poorly. For entertainment, I know Delta State were blessed with rich talents,
lots of talent.
Creatives and all of that. And the governor has done a lot when it comes to creatives. If you go to the state capital, we have different hubs for that as well. So I think the governor has also invested in creatives, in entertainment in Delta State.
Okay, so the entertainment industry, I think that's one area that's really lacking behind.
By the way, talking about I just saw one clip now about the stadium, Warri Township Stadium is being reconstructed, and I'm hearing that it's near completion. And when that comes on board, beautiful. That will be a very big thumbs up for the governor.
Yeah, so
you were saying
still
about
entertainment. Yeah. I think we are still lagging behind on entertainment. What do you think? Well, I'm so sorry for that. Okay. I'll need you to hold that thought. We need to go on a very, very, very quick break. When we return, we have a lot to talk about entertainment and so many other aspects of leadership and governance from the Delta State government. Please stay with us.
Of the presentation this afternoon. We promote Africa We promote Nigerian cultural heritage.
Welcome.
Of the presentation this afternoon. We promote Africa. We promote Nigerian cultural heritage.
Hey everyone, look, everybody's got an opinion, but not everybody gets heard. That's why we made Your Perspective with real people, real stories, my opinion, your opinion, with zero filter. We'll talk about the things that you argue with your friends, your family, your loved ones, but now on your TV. We'll make it funny, we'll make it messy, we'll make it loud, and we'll also make it sometimes controversial, but we'll always keep it 100 with you, our amazing viewers. Tune in and bring in your takes, send in your comments, send in your messages so you can be part of this amazing segment. Let's make some noise because Your Perspective airs every Friday 12 p.m. and West African time. And if you're not watching, you're just part of someone else's perspective. Bye. Welcome back from that really, it's like a long break. Welcome back from the break. All right, before we went on that break, we have been talking about, we are reviewing the present government administration and the 3 years in office, and we are reviewing it and looking at it, and we're asking people around, and we're just talking about it here in the studio. And this is an opportunity to call on to our amazing viewers. If you're watching us, let us know what you think. What do you think from wherever you're watching from the national scene or from the state scene? What is your state government doing? What have they done so far? What do you think they can do more? What do you think they can improve on? What aspects of governance do you think your state government can improve on? And if you're in Delta State here, please let us know which aspect you think the Delta State government should improve on, which aspect do you want to applaud the Delta State government on, and which aspect do you think the Delta State government needs to do more on. You can drop your comment or a direct message on any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. Still on that, I'm going to read this question that I have to you, Mr. Fred. I'm sorry you were supposed to continue with your entertainment you're talking about, but let me quickly read this question. This person said, we hear a lot about the zero pothole mandate on Delta State roads. I am currently driving on Airport Road and I have a question. When will Airport Road be fixed?
A good question, because I was going to do a kind of report, so to speak, on this Airport Road axis, but then I stopped because the erosion controlled drainages that were constructed from the Airport Road or Airport Junction axis from the Efrosaple Road down to, I think they stopped at Total Filling Station, Airport Road, thereabout. I think that's where they stopped by the Board of Internal Revenue. I think that's where they stopped.
Yeah.
And for me,
They didn't continue all the way down to
Ogono this way. Yeah. So to me, I just felt it's a project that has not been completed. But if they say it's completed, then what are they waiting for them to now get the potholes fixed?
By the way, I need us to even remind people that that road has now been renamed to Sheriff Oborevwori Way, so it's no longer Airport Road.
Well,
it's an old Airport Road, or former Airport Road. It's currently Sheriff Oborevwori Way.
It's going to take, a lot for people to remember.
Yeah, so it's our duty, it's our job to keep reminding people that road is now Sheriff Oborevwori Way, former Airport Road, now Sheriff Oborevwori Way.
Now, you see that axis
of Sheriff Oborevwori Way.
Yeah, formerly known as Airport Road.
That's the one you choose.
Yeah, no, it's not like the one I choose. That's the one people will easily get to understand.
And you think that's
so? You saying it? No, you saying it. That's why I'm saying formerly known as. So people can get it. So let me not start saying things that people not
don't
like.
Understand.
What are they talking
about?
Does this person even know what the place is talking about? Now, that road is filled with so much potholes. Not only that road. Major roads, in fact, not just major, almost all the roads in Oborevwori, because this is where we are broadcasting from.
Yeah.
We have these potholes and it's not making sense. It's not making sense that we are hailing the governor as the road master. Yet, we have a lot of potholes, how would I say, roads that are now worn and tearing everywhere. That's what we're saying. Even the newly rehabilitated roads, the ones also in this part of Delta State, as the rains started, we've started seeing the wearing of the road.
So they still need maintenance.
They still need a lot of maintenance.
Serious maintenance.
This is where.
So it's one thing to construct roads, another thing to maintain.
In as much as we are hailing the governor about infrastructure, especially for roads. This is also a concern. This is also a drawback in your administration that there are potholes to be fixed. If you really want to be referred to as the road master, then fix the road, not the drainages. You fix drainages and the roads are bad. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And now there are some roads as well, which are linking roads, very important linking roads, that are not being done properly. Now, I want to make mention of the Airport Road, Sheriff Oborevwori Way.
Yes.
Jesus. If I bite my tongue.
Please don't.
Now, there is a road off this particular Airport Road, formerly of Airport Road, that is known as, what's it called now? Soko Estate Road.
That it's being worked on currently, right?
They've stopped. And now the granite and sand that they put on top of the road, the rains are washed, and the road is bad again. It's getting bad again. So it's according to let me not call that double wahala for whatever. So it's going to be another amount of money that will now be projected into that project. Now this is a very important road that links you from the old Airport Road down to Jakpa Road, just as it is that. The what's it called, that link Ekpan Link Road, still off still off the old Airport Road to Ekpan. These are very, very important roads, and the governor, I'm saying that the governor is not working seriously on these kind of roads in Uye and Wari.
So, but this now calls for the local government chairman. What do they do? I mean, the governor cannot be everywhere.
Yeah.
That's why he has local government chairman, right, and other.
As far as I'm concerned, these roads are state roads, state government roads. So the different local government chairmen we've had in the past, the recent one was not Ransom. What did he do? Look at Ransom's family compound, not far from the Osubi. I mean the what's it called, Soko Estate Road. He plies that road every time to family's compound, and he didn't do anything about it. And now he is, look, I don't want to break table, but now he's about contesting for, I think, House of Assembly.
Okay.
So these are link roads. Work on them. If you really are the what's it called, road master, then these are important roads. Yes, the NRA junction, the PTI junction, the DSC junction that you are working on, beautiful. Those are roads that are leading people into the town. What about the roads inside
And even
the
these
town?
roads, yeah. So let's even digress.
The
a
one
bit.
at airport,
Roads.
estate roundabout is getting bad already.
Yeah, yes. Just in front of that total filling station, that place is, and you see people swerving to, take the good side of the road.
Deco Road is another. In fact, there are so many of
There's so
them.
many roads that still
So
need the
that
attention
is
of
where
the
the governor
government
has to
and the
come in
governor.
and really work.
Okay, yeah. Talking about roads or infrastructure, let's also look at the street light, because somebody sent a message in that regard.
Oh, okay.
I will just paraphrase what she meant, because what he or whoever the person is meant, because they use some foul language. But I think what I pick from here is, when when the street lights on old airport road or former airport road was placed or installed, we had cheers here and there. Everybody was applauding the government and the governor and all. But now it's been vandalized. Some do not work. Some have been vandalized, and that begs the question: what's really happening? Is it the government's problem, or is it the people problem?
It's a people problem. It's not a government problem. The government has installed those security lights everywhere. It's part of security we're talking about.
Yeah.
They've installed that, and it's now left for the community to come up to ensure that these facilities are protected. Just like when we say you have a new transformer in your community or in your street, if you see most of the transformers, we have protection built around them, even have locks to them, and these are held by a committee in those areas. Anything that goes wrong with that transformer, the committee is looked up to. So it is with these street lights. Some persons are supposed to have be given responsibility about that. If anything is going on, there are supposed to be surveillance on those properties, because definitely these are lights that are controlled by solar. So there is no light at home. Let me not say what I want to say.
Okay, somebody commented, or rather, somebody sent a direct message, and she says, "Uwe and Deti 5 and 6."
Now that was the local government. That
one
is not state.
Uwe and Deti 5 and 6. That's a lot of statements in few words.
It's not only in Uwe. I think even in Warri, and some other places, other urban cities in Delta State, Asaba inclusive, the Okpanam area. I know of Okpanam area very well.
Yeah.
There are deaths littered in some places that you do not expect to see. For the Uwe, I think, like what the person said, honestly, that person is not far from the truth. The town smells. Honestly, it smells. Just like the markets.
I was going there. Let's look at the town market, especially on market days. Normal market, normal days smells. And market days. I'm sorry to say,
dirty. But Uwe smells. When you check the drainages, these same drainages.
This begs the question: what is the local government chairman doing?
Yeah,
what are these
like I said, that's the
doing?
Responsibility of the local
because
government.
The governor cannot be everywhere.
No. This environmental issue.
What does the local government chairman do?
They have departments in the local government that has to do with sanitation.
Yeah.
Sanitation and environment, beautification, and blah blah blah. Although we have a ministry, commission for that from the state level, but then for this particular issue, it is the local government. What are they doing? Back in the day, I used to see, the what's it called now? These health workers from the local government, where they go around
with their overalls and their coveralls,
but they don't do that. People just tip them money, and that is it.
I see some people, they come out and they just sweep and pack the sand.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, is it sand or should we be packing dirty?
That's from the local government.
So are they supposed to be packing just sand? Because I see them on the road especially.
Yeah, no, that job
early mornings for that matter.
That job is to ensure that the road is clean, which to an extent is not bad.
Yeah,
right?
but
it's the beautification thing that we are also talking about. Is the
airport road beautiful though?
At least just to get the city clean.
But then again, no. I think you say just to get the sand off the road, because I don't see how that clean.
Just to get the road clean. Let me
sand off the road.
Let me give you an instance.
When the road has grasses and bushes on the side.
Look. I was once in that space. All right.
So
So
why don't they do what they need to do?
what we did back there. But the bottom line is the reason why you are seeing this scenario like it's somehow is because the rains have begun. So taking the sand off, you will not see what beauty that thing is doing. But during the dry season, when we did not have wet sands, you will see that when they pack it, the road looks neat.
Yeah,
That's one.
we are on the same page.
And-
The road looks
and
neat
also
for the side that
they-
don't have dirt and baggages. The parts that have actual baggage that made you say, oh yeah, it's dirty or oh yeah, it smells.
yeah.
Why don't they go there to pack those dirt? I mean, if they pack out
Yes,
those
that's
dirt,
the
it will still
question.
make the road clean and neat.
That's the question for the authority that is responsible for that.
Exactly.
Now,
So that's
the
what I'm
ones
putting out there.
the ones you see doing that, their job description.
Yeah.
Their job description is just to beautify the road, just to make that part of the road neat. That's their job. But the one you're talking about is those debris that we brought out of the drainage
Yes.
that now form part of the dirt we are talking
Yes.
about. That's the responsibility of another authority, or the authority that those other workers you see that are doing. But these other ones, they will come with their vehicle to, get
This
rid
is a
of
call.
those,
This is a call to the governments, local government chairman, state governments. Please, we see what you do, but we need more. We need more. It's a shame to see, to see the government or the governor's hard work being defaced like this. Still speaking about, dirt and all, we have mentally derailed people, defacing the community, defacing the society. And like I jokingly tell somebody, or like I used to jokingly say, when you go into a market, especially a free market, now I'm going to use a free market as a case study, you already know who's even normal and who's not normal. Because both the the boys, collecting ticket money and all from KK people, they look tattered and they don't look well kept. And then you see a mad person and then you see a normal person. You do not even know who is who. You do not know who is normal and who is not normal. So we have a lot of cleaning up to do, both from dirt to human beings to our mentality. We have a lot of cleaning up to do. So please, I'm still calling on the local government chairman or the local government office and the state governments to please look into these things. We see what you do, but there's a lot of things to be done. I mean, like this, sorry, I beg your pardon. These mentally derailed people now, we need facilities for them. I mean, I believe that if they have facilities to be taken to, like you mentioned, rehabilitation centers or facilities for this kind of people to be off the streets, because you cannot be taking children to school early in the morning and you see mad people, with their genitals outside. It's
so this is where we are calling on. We're talking about the 3 years in office of the state governor.
Yes,
and the way forward.
Yes, the way forward.
This way forward, this thing you just talked about.
Yeah.
Bringing another Uselu in Delta State.
Yes,
will be good for these psychiatric homes is what I'm referring to, and all of that, and of course the local government doing all they can.
Full-grown adults with their genitals out there. It's not nice.
To ensure that we have
nice.
a better 4 years of Governor Sheriff Oborevwori.
And even the federal government at large.
Yeah.
And this is the part where we call on the general public, as usual, to go out with your PVC. Have your voter's card, because we cannot for sure say who's coming back in the second term or the next year election. But please, we'll call out for the general public to go out in your numbers. Your PVC is your voice. Your vote is your voice. Your vote is your right. It's your fundamental human right to, go out there and vote. So please have your voter's card. I see some people that, boldly say, I don't have my voter's card. I'll not vote. You need your voter's card. All right. Please go out there and vote, because your vote is your voice. All right. This is where we draw the curtain on today's episode of Your Perspective, looking at 3 years in office of the present day administration. Thank you so much to Mr. Fred, my amazing guest, for joining me. And thank you so much to my amazing viewers for watching to this point. And yeah, Let's put the government in mind. Let's stay safe out there. Let us be nice and be kind to one another. Be your brother's keeper, and do not forget to reach out to us on all our social media platforms for your businesses, for sponsorship, for business adverts and sponsorships, and what have you. Whatever complaints you have, whatever you want us to know, send us a message on any of our social media platforms displayed on the screen. Do not forget to like, do not forget to follow, and do not forget to share it to your loved ones and family and friends. Thank you so much, and do have a lovely day. Bye bye.